Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for being here today at the fourth annual recovery celebration from Riverside Community Care, Connect to Recovery. I'm Dr. Schran, the Chief Medical Officer here at Riverside, and I am really delighted to be sharing this with all of you today. The theme is You Are Not Alone, and this is such an important part of what we do here with our population, but with all of you. So many people have felt ashamed to come out of the shadows because they have been stigmatized based on their substance use. And because of that, they have felt very alone. Maybe some of you are experiencing that as well. So we are delighted you're here, but you are not alone. Addiction is not about morality. It is about mortality. It is a way the brain works. And the more we can communicate that to people, the more I hope that we can remove this barrier of stigma that has really kept so many people in the shadows for far too long. So with that in mind, thank you for being here. We have a wonderful program today. I'm going to turn it right over to our Vice President of Behavioral Health Services, Kim Fisher, who will continue our program today. I'll see you all soon.
Thank you so much, Dr. Schran, and welcome to all of you. I'm Kimberly Fisher. I'm the Vice President for the Behavioral Health Services Division here at Riverside. And as many of you know or might have heard in previous years, my personal motivation for doing what I do is a commitment that I made after losing my partner to a long struggle with substance use back in 2007. We started Connect to Recovery in 2020, just a few weeks before the pandemic hit, and watching this program grow and having touched thousands of lives and since its inception has been just absolutely incredible. Our peer and recovery coach workforce at Riverside has tripled over the past several years, and the impact of that on the people we serve is just truly incredible. I'm going to turn it over to Alan Meister, but before I do, I want to encourage all of you, if you have lost people to the disease of addiction, please feel free to put their names or initials in the chat throughout this program. We'll hold a moment of silence at the end of the hour to honor each and every one of our lost but not forgotten loved ones. Alan?
Thank you, Kim. My name is Alan Meister. I am a friend and ally of recovery and have personally practiced recovery principles in my life for more than 30 years. I'm also the program director for Connect to Recovery here at Riverside Community Care. Connect to Recovery is a community-based program that supports individuals by connecting them to community resources and providing support and encouragement in their recovery journey. Services we provide include Recovery Support Navigator, Recovery Coach, the Community Support Program, and our newest services, BHJI and CSPJI, that provide specialized services for justice-involved individuals. Our desire to provide quality peer services to persons served has been demonstrated by our commitment to train all of our staff as recovery coaches and to assist them in becoming certified addiction recovery coaches. It's my privilege to be a part of this, the fourth annual Connect to Recovery Recovery Celebration. And this year, the theme is You Are Not Alone. We want to get the message out to everyone that is struggling with addiction that there is hope and there is help. Too often, people do not reach out for help because they do not believe help is available, or even worse, that they are not worthy of the help that is there. Indeed, the road of addiction can be very lonely and tiresome. I'm reminded of a song called Weary Traveler by Jordan St. Cyr. The lyrics go like this. Weary traveler, beat down from the storms that you have weathered. Feels like this road just might go on forever. Carry on. Weary traveler, restless soul, you were never meant to walk this road alone. It'll all be worth it, so just hold on. Weary traveler, you won't be weary long. Here at Connect to Recovery, we come alongside many weary travelers. We let them know that they are not alone, that the arduous journey of addiction can have an end, and that they can instead travel on the journey of recovery. So now I invite you to watch a video montage of some of the people that we have had the opportunity to help as they talk about their recovery journeys and how they are not alone.
My name is Brian. I've been sober since August 9, 2022. I have just over a year of a brand new life. I had a lot of support along the way. I haven't been doing this by myself. I did 6.5 months at a halfway house where I had lots of housemates and counselors that, helped me get through some things. We helped each other get through stuff. Since I left the halfway house, I got involved with Connect to Recovery.
Some people are lucky enough to have friends and family, and unfortunately, some do not. However, there are always resources like Riverside. I'm grateful to have Susan Patinsky, Roland Meadows, and John Pike as allies. Everyone needs help at some point. When you do, seek it out.
My name's Eric. I'm 36 years old, and I'm an alcoholic and an addict. Today I'm working my recovery, and I feel better than ever. And if you're struggling, there is hope.
Hello there, my name is Joshua, and I'm in recovery. One day at a time, or 10 minutes, howsoever you find. Above our feet, we stay. Hocus pocus focus on our bright future, while staying and enjoying in the moment. Us addicts have so much to offer: talent, charm, wits and smiles. Thank you, Chris, Jenna, and Megan from Riverside Connect to Recovery, a wonderful link into a sober community.
She's exactly what I need without, she doesn't even, she somehow just knows what I need. I need to problem solve. She's there. She's my coach. She's like my sister, but she's also completely professional. She's a freaking rock star. She's like my little demon slayer. I love her so much that I'm just so grateful that she's a resource that's accessible to me. Lisa, I love you.
Hi, my name is Wesley Oxerville. Patrick Morrell, he helps me a lot. When I first came home, I was recovering. You did a lot for me because, my sister just passed away. Just his energy, everything about him. He's just a good person. He was there for me. He didn't have to do that, but he supported me a lot.
Riverside was very helpful. They did not judge. They offered me therapy. They offered me a recovery coach, which all of these I took, and I chased my recovery pretty much like I chased my drug or drink. I now joined AA. I still do my therapy. I still talk to my recovery coach every Tuesday. I'm really appreciative of everything that Riverside has done for me.
Hi, my name is Dave. I've been in recovery for 8 years. The first 6 consisted of detox, rehab, and Alcoholics Anonymous. I would get frustrated that I just wasn't getting it, and I would keep relapsing. I was introduced to Connect to Recovery and paired up with my recovery coach, Roger, and it's made a world of difference for me. With Roger's help and with Connect to Recovery, I'm able to work on my recovery and not battle addiction.
No matter what you're going through, you could go to your local recovery center and let it out. Also, Turning Point and Walpole introduced me to Orange Theory Fitness, which is a workout studio, and it's taking me on this whole wellness journey in my life, and I'm so grateful, and I wish you all the best.
Just remember, you're not alone.
Wow. Thank you for playing that, Aaron. It's powerful, isn't it? It is powerful. I see so many people writing in the chat already. It gives me goosebumps. It's so stunning how many people we have lost, all of whom were alone, leaving so many of us a little bit alone. But I hope what you see from this is you are not alone. There are people here. There are people everywhere to help. We just have to get rid of this idea that somehow this substance use addiction is a moral issue. It is not. As I said before, it is not about morality. It is about mortality. It is brain. It is the way we respond to pleasure. But what we are looking for now is happiness. Happiness. That is such an antidote to so many things. I'd like now to to thank everybody again for being here. Remember, put those names in the chat so we can all remember. And I'm going to pass it on now to Dan Foley, who's going to introduce our next speaker. Dan, all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Joe. As Dr. Joe said, my name is Dan Foley, and I am a person in long-term substance use and mental health recovery, as well as the Assistant Program Director for Connect to Recovery here at Riverside Community Care. I absolutely love the work that I do because I know firsthand what it's like to feel lost, isolated, and that nobody cares. And through this work, we get the opportunity to show people that somebody does care and that they are not alone on this journey. Today, I have the honor and privilege of introducing our speaker, Lovely Harvey. I met Lovely a few years ago while I was working as a recovery coach at the Nashua Street Jail, and at that time he was detained there. As I was leaving that role a couple of years later, I had the very unique experience of interviewing him to fill that very same position. I knew instantly and wholeheartedly that he would be able to take what I had done creating that role and bring it to a level that I would never be capable of doing. And I must say that from everything I can see and have heard, this man has done nothing but exceed those expectations in every way imaginable. So without further ado, or me rambling on about him, here is the one and only Lovely Harvey to share some of his journey.
Well, good morning, everybody. And Dan, thank you for the warm introduction. So, again, good morning, everybody. My name is Lovely, last name Harvey. I am a person in long-term recovery, as I define it, not using a day at a time, putting any substances in my body anymore. So, let me look at this clock, okay? I am honored and I find it a privilege to be invited here to speak this morning. And like Dan said, the way that we initially connected and then it came full circle with him being part of the interview process for my position that I still hold to this day is only the universe lining things up the way that they're supposed to be. I didn't understand that all my negatives and bad decision making and results of those things would be the preparation for where I'm at in my life today. First off, right, I got a hats off to Dan because he is actually the first person in the field that I came in contact with at this point in my life when I started this journey to get myself together, which, by the way, actually wasn't my intentions until I actually had a conversation with Dan. He's the first person I ever knew that was a recovery coach that I met. And the thing about the theme today lines up so perfect because when I was detained there, I felt alone. I came in beaten, broken, hopeless, helpless, homeless, didn't have any plans, didn't have any goals, didn't have any vision of anything that had to do with being successful and having a good life. I actually just wanted to figure a way up out of there immediately so I could get back to using. And it just goes to show with the never alone theme, me and Dan didn't have long drawn out conversations, right? Or engagement. But the few minutes that we had made an impact because he said, try treatment again. And he suggested some places. And that was the gist of our conversation. And lo and behold, further down the line, I was like, you know what? That was the key to me getting refocused and beginning to want better for myself. So I actually went to treatment and stayed in treatment because I do have some experience with some of the information that's been provided to me throughout the years. When I started getting my facilities in order and was able to speak again fluently and stand upright mind you, I walked into Salvation Army in Saugus like 148 pounds with a Santa Claus beard. My hair was uncapped. I was bent over. I was walking with a cane. I couldn't even stand up, and I couldn't even put two sentences together. I was truly at the end of the road where there was no longer an option for me but jail, which I just came from, an institution that I walked into, and the only thing left was death. So I opted out for that third option and took a chance on myself to start the process of getting my life back in order. I was speaking at a walk against addiction a few years ago, and after I spoke, the recovery coach supervisor walked right up to me and said, "Listen, there's a position opening up soon. It's going to be posted. I want you in that position." I had already took the recovery coach training because I was first, it was initiated with Dan because I just thought it was so different for somebody with lived experience to be coming into an institution and helping us, showing us that we're not alone and providing some information, even if it was just a short engagement of some positivity. The impact that it started and had in my process made such a significant difference in my life. So when she said that, mind you, just as a side note, after I finished my recovery coach trainings, like all the job descriptions I kept seeing, the Mass General one kept just calling me. However, at the time, I didn't feel I was ready. I wasn't in the right position, this, that, and the third. And lo and behold, when I spoke that day, the job literally came and fell in my lap. So with that being said, after I got hired, due to stigmatism and some things that weren't tweaked out yet, I wasn't able to move like Dan was in the prison because I had so much background and history in them same institutions. So just to keep it clear, after I got hired for that position, they still wasn't sure about me actually being in that position. So everybody else had their hair in a bunch except me. All I kept saying was, whatever I'm allowed to do now, that's what I'm going to do, because it's not about me. It's about doing whatever I can do to help somebody else and show them that they're not alone. So I went through all kinds of changes getting acclimated into these institutions initially. Now I walk in and out of there through the front door, see whoever I need to see, help whoever I need to help and wants help on a daily basis, with no restrictions, no barriers, no obstacles. And I get it, and I understand the fact that in this process, it was necessary because of my history, my background, my quarry, that I needed to prove myself to be effective in this position. However, during the time that there was some resistance and I could only go in and see people behind the glass, I was allowed to shadow other recovery coaches in their roles. So what happened was I ended up creating my own role where I'm part of the street addiction team. I work in the courthouse as a recovery coach and the ED and the prisons. Now, this is a guy who couldn't stay out of court, couldn't stay out of prison, couldn't stay out of the ED, right? And now I'm employed in all these places, actually with the same doctors who was once working on me. Now I'm working with them, right? Part of the street addiction team where we come out and help people doing outreach, right? And what's the most beautiful thing for me is, again, the not alone thing, the same community where I was born and raised, grew up at, ran amok at, became a total mess at, I'm now a total message. And I just believe wholeheartedly that it takes us to help us. And what I mean by that, it's not that allies or people from any other population aren't helpful and play a big role, but it makes a difference because it's not who has the truth, it's who the truth comes from. And sometimes it makes a difference when people see the truth coming from somebody who's actually went through what they're going through. The same hallways and buildings that I used to crack and open with my T-Pass, I became the residential service coordinator for them same buildings. I used to sleep in these hallways. Now I was a residential service coordinator for all of their properties before I moved on to another position. Like, this is the hope that I've came back and been a part of in my community. I left here in a jail car and I came back. I left here hopeless and I came back as an example of real hope. Like, I come from a hustler's background with guns and drugs and street violence. I haven't found it necessary to involve myself in any of those things along my journey thus far, a day at a time. I haven't found an excuse to use so I can die. Instead, I've created a life for myself with the help of many others that I now have so many reasons to live. I'm still at Mass General. However, I've had second places of employment throughout my journey this far. And I actually am happy to report and share with y'all that I start my new second job employed by the city of Boston as a coordinated response team liaison now. So again, all these doors have opened up. All these organizations and entities and different people from all over the community have let me know that if I keep doing the next right thing, that I'm not alone, I have the help, and it's possible to have a great life now, no matter what it looked like before. And I see I got about 2 minutes left. So one thing that's dear to my whole heart, my whole being, is about 3 years ago, I was at a meeting and I heard everybody talking about who is now one of my good friends, Arisa, and her list, because she would text people every morning. So I walked up to her and I said, "Can I ask you a question?" And before I could even spit it out, she said, "You want to be on the list, huh?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." So she started texting me just a motivational quote or something every single morning. So it made me feel so good that somebody was thinking about me and I wasn't alone, that I started doing it to her. And then I started doing it to other people that I wanted to show them that they had some support, that they wasn't alone. I got 40 people on my morning list that I text without fail, no matter what. That's my morning ritual every single morning, to positively show somebody that they're not alone, that they always got some support. Send them a quote of something that might be what they're going through or might not, just something they might be able to have, you know, in the safe for later. But it just makes it like a beautiful start for my day every day, to start it off being positive and helping somebody else in that manner and showing people that they're not alone. And as a result of that list, I had noticed after a few months that some people that should have been on that list wasn't on that list. So just to put it in a nutshell real quick, me and my daughter, which is my only daughter, I have two sons as well, every day without fail. We haven't missed a day in years. And that's really major for me, because there was a time when I was abandoned, I isolated, I stayed away from everybody because the shame and the guilt of active addiction. However, due to the work that I've done, staying in the process, building myself back up, having faith and belief in my higher power, and accepting the help. Help is two parts. Asking for help is the first part. Accepting the help is the second part. Accept the help. Know that all of these places are here to help you. It's not like the old days when the resources was limited and the stigmatism was rampant. Even though it's still here, it's still a different day and a different time, where if you're willing and have the desire to have a better life, it is possible, and you are not alone in your journey. I just want to say, I know a lot of people who died before they got the chance to live, and through people like Dan and other people on this platform, now I have the chance to live before I die. And I'm grateful to be here today. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And everybody, just know, no matter what, you're worth it to yourself. You deserve it, and you can do it. And you're not alone. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Lovely. it is so important what you are doing there, helping to other people know that at least somebody is thinking about them. That alone increases somebody's value. And every time you remind someone of their value, you increase your own value. So lovely, Dan, others, I think what you guys are doing is living up to one of my phrases: contribute to society to help with your sobriety. That's what you're doing. You contribute to society to help with your sobriety. You remind someone of their value. You increase your own value. Lovely. Thank you so much for the inspiration that you've given us all today. And you are not alone. You are not alone. Thank you for being with us. Thank you. I'm getting goosebumps still, guys. I know you are. Please, continue to put those names in the chat. So many that we have lost. But being with others so that they are not alone, that's what we can do. That's what we do. Let me pass it on again now. Back to Dan Foley, who's going to introduce our next guest. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you once again, Dr. Joe. Anybody that knows me knows it's no surprise that Lovely got me shedding many tears right there. But we'll keep it moving forward. Recovery's brought so many amazing people into my life, and today really signifies that fact that regardless of where we are at in our recovery journeys or our journeys in life, we are truly not alone. Our next speaker, Gerard Touchette, and I go back to the beginning of my journey. I had the pleasure of meeting him when we were both trying to figure things out for ourselves and found ourselves volunteering at a New Way Recovery Center. His enthusiasm and positive energy has had a profound impact on me personally, as well as my recovery, because I wanted to be as positive as he was and continues to be. He has had to tolerate me at a couple of jobs in the field since then. We worked together as recovery coaches in emergency departments for the heart program. And then more recently, we worked together at Turning Point Recovery Support Center, where he is currently the peer engagement, wellness, and resource coordinator. I would like to express our deepest gratitude to Gerard for being so willing to jump in at the very last minute today, which truly highlights to me that we are not alone. We appreciate you, G, and the floor is now yours, my friend.
Okay, they did. Okay.
Nice. What's up, lovely people? Can you hear me okay? All right. So, Dan, thank you so much. You know how we play with one another. We love each other, man. You taught me a lot in the field as a recovery coach in the emergency rooms. And let me just say, you're lucky. My window of tolerance is like this wide for you, my man. So yes, I had to tolerate you, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you so much, my friend. Happy Recovery Month. I want to thank Connect to Recovery and Riverside Community Care for putting this together. I'm honored to be here. Yes, my name's Gerard. Like Dan said, peer engagement, wellness, and resource coordinator here at Turning Point Recovery Support Center in Walpole, Massachusetts. Man in long-term recovery, first and foremost, and just like I said, blessed to be here. I'm not going to do any rapping for you. I do have something a little bit written. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to talk about something I wrote in the past called From Lost to Found. But I'm going to break it into 5 sections. And section 1, how I got lost, with a little reading to it. Section 2, lost, no self-worth or purpose. I'll give you an example. Section 3, my vision, seeking purpose. Section 4, in detox, where I found myself. And section 5, post-detox, purpose and community. Those are the 5 sections from lost to found. So it starts off section 1, how I got lost. It says, I wrote at the time, it happened so fast. At the time, the reward was so much greater than the risk for me. But it turned into every minute of every day, I became a slave to the drug. And if I could go back and change things, I probably would have made the same choice. Because I was in pain, I felt lost, I felt alone, I felt like a failure. I dropped out of college. And I didn't know. Matter of fact, I had no clue who I wanted to be. I just knew I didn't want to be me. An insecure 21-year-old kid. I had no backup plan to baseball and sports. I had no confidence to believe that I had strengths or knowledge to pursue anything in life. No role models, no family member that ever completed college. Just no belief that I could excel in the real world. I lived my life in fear. I just couldn't understand the concept of fear in order to try to change it. It was instilled in me from the day I can remember to live in fear. I settled for the bare minimum, but I was a good kid. I had values and morals and compassion for people, and I wouldn't break that for anything. Therefore, it was hard for me to fit in with the troublemakers, quote unquote. But I wasn't intelligent enough to hang with the smart and the successful kids. I was quiet and a reserved young man. Smoking and selling pot made me somebody. Nothing huge, just somebody rather than nobody. I was dancing around drugs for a while. Nothing serious. I never liked them. I didn't like drinking either. I hated it. Opioids was the first drug I didn't hate. It helped to slow down my negative thoughts or trauma and seemed to make things so much clearer. You see, I was still that little kid, afraid of everything. I was different and I knew it. And I let it get the best of me. It made it very difficult for me to do any self-seeking. I wanted nothing to do with that. To use an example, I used to talk about how about them Patriots and Red Sox with my assigned drug counselor because I got caught drinking underage. Everything surface level and anything to use as a distraction. I would avoid anything that had to do with my feelings at all costs. Nothing deep and nothing towards a solution. That was section 1, how I got lost. From lost to found. Section 2, lost. No self-worth or purpose. No self-worth or purpose. That's really how I felt at the time. My vision. I started to have a vision, seeking purpose. I asked myself 2 questions. What brings me joy? What do I know? What are my strengths? What am I kind of good at? What brings me joy? What makes me happy? And I just started creating this vision in my head, I'm 33, 34 years old, seeking purpose. Let's start with that. Let's start with my strengths and what brings me joy. And I played college I played baseball into community college a little bit. I learned about the body, the mind. My uncle taught me how to work out at the gym and stuff. I started having this vision, this dream of some fitness and recovery program. I started doing a lot of research to what the drugs did to my body. And everything I researched and dug into, it was like my body was depleted of all these natural chemicals and my mind was racing. So between the racing mind and the depleted body, it wasn't the mind-body connection anymore. It was just completely disconnected. So, in a biological level, I guess, like the cards were against me. And all the research I did, it went back to exercise, building discipline. I did something. I started, so this was my plan. This was my purpose. You know what I mean? Like, I got help. I asked for help. I had a therapist. I went through mass rehab. I got awarded money to go to school called AAPT, American Academy of Personal Training in Boston. I took the commuter rail in 2015. That winter, that was a rough winter. There was a lot of snow that winter, if you remember. And I would find $14 a day to get into the city of Boston Government Center and then walk to school. You know, I wasn't working at the time. I was in a rough place trying to get out, trying to transition. So I'm getting paid under the table, just trying to pay rent and all that stuff. And then like, I was going to do whatever it took. I was so determined. So I graduated school, nationally recognized diploma. You know, next mission, next goal was to save some money. And so I could get certified as a personal trainer, pass the test. Call my mother crying. You know what I mean? It's like everything's just started coming together little by little. I had my eye on the prize, the vision, fitness and recovery, fit to recover program, fit to recover wellness. But then I knew it was time. I was on medically assisted treatment, which helped save my life. But something deep down inside, this is just my story. I needed to get off of it. So I had to go to detox to get off of it. I was prescribed for 7 years. You know what I mean? So I had to go to detox to get off of the MATs. And that's just my story. That's where I was at because I wanted to know if my body could find a way. So then I could go to others and say, this is what I experienced. I was going to the gym and I had panic attacks. I had anxiety attacks. I had to run to the men's locker room to catch my breath and breathe. So I stopped running on the treadmill. So I started using the machines very light. I hired a personal trainer, somehow came up with, $60. And he said, I can hook you up. You can do small group training with the high school hockey team. I was like, awesome. 34 years old doing suicide sprints and everything. But you know what, man, I grew so much. I was so humble. I was like, I'll take whatever I can. And I told that personal trainer my story. So for anybody out there, find a mentor. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be like? Find a mentor, learn from them, and then make it your own. And that's what I did. Fitness, recovery. And that personal trainer, I'm still friends with him this day. He said I lit a fire under his butt. So ask for help. People want to help. Section 4, detox. I had to go to detox. That's where I found myself. It sucked. It was horrible. I remember just looking at the blinking smoke detector. That was what got me through the night. It's called Phoenix at the time in Quincy. The red line train went by every 10 minutes. I wasn't sleeping anyways. It would rattle the windows and everything. Anyway, so yeah. So I got 3 minutes. Nice. See, I'm not alone. I got people help me with the time and everything, so I can keep track. You like that? But I found myself in detox because it was painful. The withdrawals, the kicking off of 7 years on medically assisted treatment. I ain't gonna lie, and still doing dope on the weekends when I could. When I had the money and stuff. Headphones. My brother brought me headphones after I needed 14 days in there minimum. First time around, 5 days didn't work, relapsed after 8 to 10 days because I couldn't sleep. This time around, I needed at least 14 to 15 days in there. And I was asking the dude, guys at work there, when does it start to get better? And I remember this one gentleman was like, yo, just hang in there, man. And me as an addict, I'm like, yo, I want to know next Thursday at 1:15 or 1:17, I'm going to start to feel okay and the jitters will go away and da-da-da-da-da. And I felt like I was crawling out of my skin for 3 months. The body did find a way. And here I am today. Now I can actually take like one little Motrin if I got a headache and it works. Imagine that. the body did find a way. So I found myself in detox, the headphones. My brother brought me in headphones. Music helped to get me through a little bit, days 6, 7 through 15. By the way, the most vital time is not day 1 through 5 in detox for me. It's 6 through 12. When you're done tapering, the 5-day taper, and I can't read anymore. I'm studying for my personal trainer certificate in there, and I couldn't read anymore, so I had to put down the paper and the books. I couldn't watch 30-minute television show because the brain's going a million miles an hour, the body's depleted again. Exercise and movement helps to close the gap just a little bit. That's what it does. Section 5, I'm gonna go to section 5, post-detox. Purpose and community. Again, the 5 sections to from lost to found, where I found myself. Purpose within the community. I'm gonna give you an example with that as well. And this is my example. Robin,
What am I doing?
say hi to the people.
Oh, hi. Robin, I'm a person in long-term recovery, peer member, volunteer here at Turning Point for about the last 2 years. I came in actually beginning of 2021 from a very toxic relationship, and these people here welcomed me in no matter what. There was literally days where Gerard would come into work and I would be on the couch because I didn't have any other place to go that I felt safe. And this place became a second home to me. And, you know, 2-something years later, very happy to be here to be giving back.
Thanks, Robin.
Hey, everybody, I'm John Michael. I'm grateful to be in recovery. I'm grateful for the community I found here at the Turning Point Center. I'm not alone anymore.
And this is I'm living my purpose today. And this is community. And this is what it's all about. I'm not alone today. I'm not alone. And I'm not that scared little kid anymore. I have faith. I have faith in my family, my brothers and sisters, my community. And I just love being a part of something greater than myself. You know what I mean? And I'm okay with being my true authentic self, that I got a lot of stuff, you know, that I deal with every single day, but I don't got to do it alone. And I don't have to be embarrassed because I don't have any answers sometimes, because maybe I don't have the answers, or I don't really know what to do and I feel lost. I know I can be found within my community, from lost to found. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all. Much love.
Gerard, thank you so much. Robin, John, thank you as well for being part of this. It is about community. It is the fact that we're not alone, but it is that loneliness, that pain, that sense that we do not belong, that low self-esteem. I mean, if the brain is going to choose between fear, sadness, anger, and pleasure, it's going to choose pleasure every time. But that is not the same as happiness. Pleasure is fleeting, comes and goes, and then you need more. But that happiness that you just heard from Gerard, the happiness we heard from Lovely, that lasts, that's contentment. That is what it means, that you are not alone. You can share this. You can share this with so many. That's what we do here at Riverside. We are here for you. Connect to Recovery is here for you. So if you need us, you can come find us. We'll be right here. I want to pass it on now. Introduce our next speaker. Will be Jeff. Jeff, you're up.
Thank you. So my name is Jeff Gilbride. I am 7 years sober, and I've been a recovery coach for the C2R program for the past 3 years. You know, sometimes when you're doing this job, you're not sure if you're helping someone. You're listening and you're talking, but you don't really know if your words are making a difference. So that's how I felt about the person that's speaking next. I was her recovery coach, but now things are much different. Today, I have the honor of introducing Christina, our outreach coordinator for C2R, and also my teammate and my friend. Christina, I'll let you take it from here.
All right, I'm in. Thank you so much, Jeff. And what an honor it is to be at a meeting like this in a world that can be so cold sometimes, to see people come together and support each other. I've had the chills the whole time. I've already cried, and it's really surreal and an honor to be a part of today, to not feel alone, because it wasn't always like that. Jeff was my recovery coach, big part of my story, and I'm so grateful that Connect to Recovery was formed during the pandemic. I really needed support during that time. And I would not say public speaking is my comfort zone, so please be kind as I try to share some experience, strength, and hope. I think my mom is in the audience today. Hi, Mom, I love you. And with the topic being you are not alone, I have to give respect and credit where it's due. This woman is probably the biggest reason that I'm even still alive today. And I'm so grateful and lucky to have that support. I think my dad is here too. If he is, hi, thank you. I'm so lucky to have both of you. And you're a huge reason why I'm even alive. So thank you so much for never leaving me during the dark days. I'm 33. I grew up in Somerville, Massachusetts, and I've lost a big portion of my friends, my town, and this generation to addiction, substance use. I'm lucky to be able to be here and talk to you guys about it today. And I just want to say everyone in this room is so cool. Like, it's just really good to see supportive people. It's not something I always saw. You know, and I didn't think I would fall into this. I'm sure my parents didn't. Like, I was a good kid, if you will. I was goofy, I was chubby, I got good grades, I played sports, you know, honor roll, stuff like that. And I think the description's pretty accurate today. The only difference is I learned how to love myself and dodge negativity left and right like a ninja when you have to. So yeah, I made it out of Somerville, not getting into anything heavy, good kid, what I thought, you know, made it to college, and I met a boy, or a man, I guess. I was 18, he was 30. And I thought I was in love. You look back and you think it's going to be some ride or die, Bonnie and Clyde situation. I've learned a lot since then. And drugs were not involved in the beginning, but within a month or two of knowing this person, I went from a kid that like socially smoked weed with friends to IV heroin addiction. There was no steps in the middle. I jumped all the way down, and I knew immediately I had messed with something so powerful that like I needed help. There was no way to like get out of it myself at that point for my story. And within a year of meeting that person was gone. So was all of my money. And I was left with a budding heroin addiction in its infancy. And even to say that now gives me the chills, because like, what a battle I had ahead of me, and I had no idea. I was able to graduate UMass Lowell by the skin of my teeth using Suboxone, so I was not sick going to class every day. I got a lot of judgment and pushback for that, but without that, I would have never, ever completed college. And I think it's really cool to have somebody that was a full-blown heroin addict that could finish stuff like that. Like, sometimes we get judged as we're not smart, we're not good people, and it's like, I'm an empath. I feel things very deeply, and we have big hearts, and we're smart, and we're into all types of cool stuff. We just got wrapped up in serious, powerful substances. But yeah, once I graduated, it was like no responsibilities are on my shoulders anymore. And that's when I dived in, like things got very out of control, and I never thought I would get out. So what do? I didn't know what to do. My family didn't know what to do. We started doing the detox cycling, like sign up for what's offered, you know? First thing we did was switch to Mass Health, because I went to a detox with Blue Cross Blue Shield for 3 days, and they told me later in life that cost $9,000. I would never get clean if it was going to cost $9,000 for 3 days. So we switched to Mass Health, and I'm cycling, I'm trying everything they're saying. But to be honest, there wasn't as much offered then as there was now. I think I voluntarily did 30 something detoxes, Phoenix House, Dimmick, Cab Danvers is the big one that saved my life. And as Gerard said, these places are not like fantasy Malibu resorts, you know what I mean? So it really shows how much you want it if you go into a place like that. Yeah, 30-something detoxes, halfway house, outpatient programs, Suboxone, Vivitrol, therapy, everything I could think of, you know? And it's not sticking. I'm going years in and out, in and out. What was I told at these places when I made it to all the different programs? I was told, you know, go to a meeting, get a sponsor, do the steps. And I'm trying so hard. I'm doing it. But I'm feeling like a square peg trying to fit into a round hole. Like it's not fitting for my soul, but this is all that's being offered. And I'm really friggin' trying. You know, recovery is not linear. You can see just from the people that talk today, there's so many different personalities, different stories, experiences, and hence their recovery path is going to look different too. And I didn't feel like there was a lot of options back then. A big part of my story is using marijuana for my depression. I'm scared to try mental health meds. I've done it. And for my personal story, the risk and reward is not worth it. But to say that in a room full of like traditional recovery supports, I can tell you I've never felt more alone in my life. And I think if I had been embraced and just, you know, supported, that I might not have felt so alone and stuck out there as long as I did. You know, I had a couple options: do it someone else's way, which I tried. It didn't feel right. I had the option, get up there and lie about my truth. That did not feel right either. I had the option of tell the truth and go there to get support. I was told that I couldn't celebrate my recovery. I was told I'm not really in recovery. I was told things like, once you're a pickle, you can't be a cucumber again. And yeah, I was told like, you can't celebrate your 1 year, your 2 year, your 3 year. You can't go past step 3, things like that. And I'd like to say proudly that I am 6 years off of heroin today, no MAT, you know, and MAT was a big part of my journey, medically assisted treatment, and you get judged in some circles. So I'm so glad to see that, like, you know, just all pathways, like, accept people. We are dying out there and lying to ourselves and feeling alone. Like, what I did was say, F it then, I'm going to do this without the big support. And like, that's the hardest way. I'm surprised I'm even alive to tell the tale. But when I look back and I look at what those places had to offer, and I wanted it so bad, it was peer support. It was lived experience of someone that's been through something similar and just wants to see you succeed, cares about your well-being. I see so much of that more now. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna jump. Oh yeah. And I was gonna say, like, with the peer support and lived experience, I would guarantee my mother like would relate a lot more now to a parent of someone, of a child in addiction, than she would before this whole experience. There's something so powerful in talking to someone else that's been through it. So yeah, during the pandemic, things were going down. The world was shut down, no meetings, no support, no nothing. And thank God I had a therapist. And I told her, I was like, I need some extra support. I don't know what it's going to be, seeing you twice a week, whatever it is, I need help. And I don't know if she just didn't want to see me twice a week or what, but she said, I'm going to set you up with a recovery coach from Connect to Recovery. And honestly, best thing that's ever happened in my life. It got me through some tough times when I needed it. And regardless of what my story was, they said, like, you can do this. I believe in you. Why don't you get a job here? And I'm like, I just showed you all my crazy and my depression. You think I should work here? But I'm so glad I did. Being on the inside of this field, I've met so many people that care. I've seen so many more alternatives to treatment. It's like anything and all, the more, the better. We need help. There's people suffering. And if I don't take care of my own mental health, I'm going to be right back out there. So to meet these people, to see the hearts of like good people like that, something I never saw. And I'm so grateful to be a part of. And now I get to be the outreach coordinator and go into these places like Dimick, Phoenix House, all these places that I sat in broken, and just offer another form of support. The more, the better, you know? I have to end this on like kind of a heavy note, but it's a big reason why I'm still alive today. Up until like a year and a half ago, I was married to a man that I had been with for 13 years, did not use substances, worked out every day, and like did not have a sweet tooth like me, healthy guy, you know? And a year and a half ago, he had a heart attack at the gym and passed away. And it's like this whole time we had been prepared for something like that to happen to me. I never, ever, ever thought something like that would happen to him. And that man like stood by me through all the ups and the downs, you know? And the reason I'm bringing that up, he was a big support for me. But if you had told me 6 years ago that that would happen when I didn't have support, I would have said, I'll never stay clean through something like that, like ever, you know? And here I am. I signed up to go to school to get my master's degree while I'm working with Mass Rehab. And my husband was a very private man. He didn't talk a lot. He told everybody that how proud of me he was, that like I didn't fall to this thing, this disease, this addiction, whatever, and that I'm going to school and that I'm okay, basically. He was so proud of me. So you know what? I'm going to finish this school thing for him and for all the people we've lost, like, and just live like how the previous person said, like a lot of people didn't get a chance to live. I'm going to make him proud. And I'm already feel like I'm giving back. I'm so honored to even be a part of today. This is the first time I've ever been able to publicly share about my story, and it means a lot to me. And I just want to end with like, don't give up. Like everybody's different. There's going to be a different formula for everybody in recovery. If you're looking for help, recovery peer support centers have so much information and connection and events like free boxing, free yoga. I fell into this thing called Namaste Sober, which is so cool. It's free yoga with people in recovery. So there's just so many different things to try. Don't give up. Reach to one of us personally, and there's always someone here to support you. So thank you so much. It's an honor to be a part of today. I do not feel alone. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Christina. This is a story, powerful story, resilience. Your mom is blowing up the whole chat thing, but so are so many other people. We are incredibly rewarded by having you as part of our team. You know, one phrase, you guys have worked hard to be this lucky. This is not luck. This is hard work. Appreciate you being here. We have one more thing, one sad thing to do though. Dan, can you lead us in?
I'm happy to, Joe. Thank you. So as I mentioned earlier, I am a person in long-term substance use and mental health recovery. Like most of us here today, the topic of You Are Not Alone is an important part of my story, how I got into recovery and how I maintain my recovery every day. I couldn't have gotten to where I am now without the support of others. A huge part of not being alone to me are the people I've lost due to substance use over the years, as they remain with me on my journey and I try my best to honor them each and every day. On September 2nd of this year, we lost Elise Walsh, a former team member here at Connect to Recovery. She was a friend, a mother, a daughter, a mentor, a person in long-term recovery, as well as a staple in the recovery community. She made a profound impact on those that she supported, as well as our program at large. So with that, I'd like to ask everyone to take a moment of silence to honor all of those that we have lost to substance use.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you to all of our guests. This is the silence that so many families hear every day. The silence of those voices that we have lost. But you are not alone. You are not alone. We are here. We are here together as a community. And together, we will overcome the stigma that blocks so many people from getting help, and we will overcome this crisis. We will do this together. You are not alone. Thank you so much for being with us today at Riverside Community Care. Thanks to all our guests.